Can somebody get this man a stool? Just kidding. JT, it's his first time doing this, being on camera, so I had to give him a little bit of a hard time. So y'all probably know by now that I'm remote. I'm actually at my brother's shop. You might see him mosey around here in the back. There he is. He's got a really cool shop. You can see all the darn dirt bikes. Like, this thing is awesome. We've got the gym, the dirt bikes, the race street bikes. He's actually working on a four-wheeler right now. But we've got a lot of little kids, and you know they enjoy the four-wheeler. But I'm digressing. I want to keep the content moving, so the quality might not be up to par, but that's okay. The bench racing is still going to be WFO. So, Paula, I talked about MAV. We all know that MAV TV sucks. They need to innovate a little bit, make more value so that people want to spend the money. I'll have more ideas later on, but this is just about the 450s. And I guess we'll just talk about the Honda guys, Sexton and Roczen. I really think that camp, they seem like they have a good dynamic. You know, whenever you see them on camera, they're not like fighting. But I can't help but think that there's probably some tension involved because they want to be the top. I mean, Roczen's on his way out. We know that he's got the speed. He can win. I mean, he proved it because by going 2-2 and having a second fastest qualifying time, he's going to be there the majority of the season if he can withstand. But he's also on the end of his career. He's been injured. He's a legend of the sport. And his spot is literally the one that's up for grabs, because the Lawrence brothers are coming up with Honda. And Sexton is applying his dominance, saying, hey, I'm sort of the team leader. Last little thing about the Honda guys is it was cool. I really liked the commentating because Ricky Johnson was talking about suspension stuff and also how Kenny likes to clutch it real hard out of the corner and really accelerate. But then what was interesting, if I'm putting two and two together, I'm kind of speculating that might be the problem as to why Kenny is getting arm pump in his arms. He's not staying as loose on the bike because he's not the heaviest of guy. And if you're clutching and hauling ass out of a corner, well, of course, you know, this is an elite level athlete and rider. He knows to squeeze the bike. However, you are putting more pressure on your hands when you ride that way. And he is complaining about his hands. Granted, he does have some gnarly injuries that are in his upper extremities, which probably is most likely it. Here, this is something that I would think that has happened with Star Yamaha between Tomac and Ferrandis. But right now, if we switch over to the Star Racing guys, you've got Tomac that I believe he dabbed his knee in the first moto and kind of slowed down. Paula is a very hard packed track that gets dry and slippery. So you're going to get real choppy bumps, and then you're going to get some deep potholes just because of its being hard packed. So you're probably going to want to set the bike up being fairly stiff and then fairly fast because of the choppy bumps and because of how fast it is. So Tomac, I don't know if he's going to be around the entire season. I think he's staying out there the majority of the time because this is his last season, because he's now signed a one-year deal with just Supercross. So he would like to be motocross champ. And with that MCL injury, you can ride through it. It's going to be painful if you dab it, but you don't require surgery, and it's going to get better. And it's a long summer. I'm sure he's got good people behind him to make sure that he's healing correctly, because he doesn't want to do the Ferrandis thing for Supercross, where he's got the number 1 plate and then he can't defend it. And with Ferrandis, it really sucks that he's not there, because he was one of my top guys that I thought could potentially repeat. And it's interesting that he crashed on press day, but yet nobody has footage of his crash on press day. So how is press day different than practice if there's not cameras everywhere for stuff? You know, and I guess that kind of goes back to the MAV TV. There was just a lot of things that were missed, which was unfortunate, because there should be a bunch of cameras. And if it's a lack of cameras for press day, well, let other people in, so, you know, potentially ask for credentials, that sort of thing. If we're talking about the KTM squad, Caroli and Dungey, I'm really impressed with Dungey. He's going to be the diesel. It didn't look like he dabbed his leg at all. He just kept going. He was running a podium spot for the majority of the second moto. I think he's building his confidence. He was like fifth fastest, and he's basically the fifth guy right now. Yeah, we've got a lot of guys out with Ferrandis, with Mookie, with Marvin, with Savacci, like, you know, Dino. The list goes on and on and on, and it's only race one. It's only going to get worse. You know, there's really only 12 factory guys right now that are on factory 450s. So Dungey's just going to do the diesel thing, and he's going to continue to improve and get better. Caroli, I think people are being overly harsh on him because, A, he's not used to these American tracks. They don't get as rough. He has to get used to the qualifying, which is like not a whole day, but it's just 5 minutes of free practice, 10 minutes of timed. And when it comes to Paula, these guys practice all the time at Paula. You think you got enough nuts there, Chucky?
What's that?
Think you got enough nuts and bolts?
Yes, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm about to find out.
But no, I think he's going to improve if he continues to, if he's enjoying himself and we get to some rougher tracks. I think he's going to do well, especially maybe not some of the tracks where these guys practice consistently quite often. So that's what I have to say about the KTM stuff. And that's it. Like, subscribe, leave the comment below, keep it WFO. And until next time, this is Johnny Hopper. But whoa, da 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 da, whoa, 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 whoa.